What I want to do today is to talk about something that I've written about in the Nesivos Halach. I think it's Chelik Beis. It's dealing with a shaila, and I think there's a second shaila that has to be dealt with also, but we'll deal with the first one. The first is Maisim, the whole Zug, I suspect. A young couple, they got married, and they want to buy a house, and they don't have enough money to buy a house. So you have to go to the bank and get a mortgage. And the mortgage carries with it a lot of interest, and it's for a high sum. You make a big down payment, so the mortgage is less. It's easier to carry the mortgage. Where do you get the down payments from? So if you're lucky, the parents or the in-laws give you the down payments. Or sometimes there's there's the discussions, transactions. One set of in-laws says, I'll give you $100,000 if the other side gives you $100,000. Or, that's no problem, take the money. Or I'll lend you $100,000 interest-free, provided the mechutin also lends you $100,000 interest-free. Or I'll lend you $100,000 if he gives you, or vice versa, take different combinations and permutations. And even if he says, look, all I want from you is to go ask your shver to give you a gift towards the down payment. That could also be a shaila of ribbis. That's the shaila I want to talk about. Is there ribbis involved in this, or is there not ribbis involved in this? The other question I want to talk about, I heard Me'acheri Hapargud last Tuesday that Rabbi Raps had a problem in a get at Intera. And now I'll tell you the way I remember, and please don't correct me, because this is the shaila I want to talk about. if the facts are different, either we have a shaila or we don't have a shaila. And either I'll talk about it or I won't. But the way I heard the shaila was that there was a woman who she didn't want to accept a get. And she finally agrees to accept a get, but she wants money. That's my one side or the other. That's no shaila. I mean, there is a shaila. You give the money, but to give the Baal money to give a get, I don't want to talk about it. There are all kinds of piski din rabbanim, the Sforim Makfi Beget talk about it. But the way the shaila was presented was that the woman had accepted a loan from a child. I presume that she had to move out of her house, so she had to buy a new house, so she needed money for loan payment. I don't know what the facts were, but she accepted a loan from a child, interest-free. But she feels that it's no more than yosher that the child should get some brevach. They could put in the bank and got money from a CD, particularly if it will be paid by her about to be ex-husband. So she wants this, the Baal HaMegarish, she wants the Baal HaMegarish to, the way I heard it was to repay both the Karen plus ribbis, even though there was no heskim for ribbis at all. Now, is that a shaila or isn't it a shaila? That's what I heard.
There was a heskim of ribbis.
Huh?
There was a heskim of ribbis. No heter, there was a heskim of ribbis.
A heskim with the daughter. I see. I had a shaila without a heskim. With a heskim, we'll talk about it some other time. I mean, but mine was without a heskim.
That's what I was told.
But there was a heskim for ribbis,
Yeah.
And I said, okay, this
With
is
the daughter. There was a heskim for ribbis. Yeah.
The mother and the daughter had an arrangement, which is against the halacha.
yeah.
Now, she wants the husband to pay, and she wants the dayanim to be involved.
Of
in the
course,
agreement. So that's the problem of the
whatever they are, she wants them to enforce them, because otherwise she's not going to get any money. There's no obligation on the husband to do this. This is the only way she'll take the gift, so she wants to involve them. Okay, well, maybe we'll talk about that also, but that's what we have to get to there first. Now, let me first, most of this comes from the Nesivos Halach, but let me start with a story. In 1969, I was in Eretz Yisrael with my wife, and we went to visit Rav Avramsky, Zechron Levrocha. Rav Avramsky was very close to my family. He was in London. My father-in-law was in Manchester, And he used to stay in my father-in-law's house whenever he was in Manchester. He came to my brother-in-law's bar mitzvah. And, he reminded my wife of the story that he probably brought my shver a copy of the Chazon Yecheskel, one of them. And she was 4, maybe 5 at the time. She went up to him and said, I know that you're a big Rov, but I didn't know a Rov could be a Chazan. So the Chazon Yecheskel, he remembered the story after all those years. He was very fond of my wife. Good, fine. Good, she was a child. And that's not what I'm telling you the story for. What he tells me is, we're sitting, talking, and he tells me in Yiddish, I won't tell it in Yiddish because I only have to translate it anyway. He says that when I write a sefer, as soon as I finish the sefer, I become assigned to the sefer. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to open it again. And there was a little bookcase in the hall, not in his room. In the hall, there was a little bookcase on top of it with a whole set of Chazon Yecheskel. He said that belonged to my wife. It was hers. I don't touch it. It was hers, set of Chazon Yecheskel. I'm assigned to this one. I don't look at it. When I go back and I look at the stuff that I've published already, I didn't know at the time what he meant even. And he wasn't telling me Chas V'Shalom he was crazy or anything that he wrote. But I didn't understand it. I was rather young. Today I understand it very well. Whenever I take out something, I'm not happy. Not because of what I wrote, but I think it could have been written differently. It could have been written better. The piece that I wrote on this piece on Ribbis, with Din Evknaini, Din Orev, is complicated. And I don't think it had to be so complicated. If I had been Masader it differently, I think it would have been a lot easier to follow and to understand. So, Laman Yorutz HaKeirei, Laman Yorutz HaShemeya, I'm going to present it differently. It's not, the substance is the same, more or less. But the order is certainly different, and I think it'll be easier to follow. Now, let me start from the beginning. What I want to talk about, I don't know how far we'll get. What I want to start with today is basically nothing to do with Ribbis. It does have to do with Ribbis, but it's Gemara and Kedushin. I want to talk about Eved Ivri, Eved and Din Shnehem. That's where we have to start with this. Not that it starts that way here, but I think that this is the way that we have to start in order to grasp it more easily than otherwise. So let me begin with the Gemara in Kedushin, Vav Amud Beis, the last line, going to Zayin Amud Aleph. Omar Rovel, Tein Mona Leploini Vakadish Loch, Mikudeshes Midin Orev. 10 Mona Leploini, you pay somebody else, and I will become your bride, instead of giving me the money, give it to somebody else. So this is Mekudeshes Midin Orev. What's Midin Orev? The Orev's getting nothing. The Orev is giving herself. Literally, I would have called it, I didn't write the Gemara, but I would have called it Midin Orev Kablan. But the Orev Kablan is Din Orev. You can't have an Orev Kablan without an Orev. It's because that she is Mishabed herself. She, in the fact, is giving instead of the person who is really responsible here, and she's giving the money. She's a third party. I'm giving 10 Mona Leploini Vakadish Aniloch. I'm not taking it to give it to somebody else, but I'm, quote, guaranteeing what you're giving to the other person by being myself to you. I'm being, just like the Orev is Mishabed himself of the Leva, I'm giving myself to you in return for what you are giving the third party, this Ploini here. That's the first one. That's the Din Orev. Then comes, now the Gemara explains, Orev afagav moti hano liyodei kom mishabed nafshei. Even though the Orev got nothing, becomes mishubed. Ha'itznami afagav moti hano liyodah kom mishabdo umekan yonasho. She is giving herself in return for what this Pliny is giving to a third party. Now, that's the first one. The second one is, Hey lech mona. I'm giving you a money, It's not a double ring ceremony. I'm giving you the money, and because I'm giving you the money, you become a mudek deshes leploini. You become somebody else's wife, not mine. Now, what is this? This is midin eved knaini. What's eved knaini? The eved knaini wants to become a meshucher, but he needs money. He doesn't have any money. He can't have any money, so he has to find somebody who's willing to pay for him. Literally, he's paying the odain, and this eved knaini goes out l'cheirus. How does that work? So that's the chiddush haTorah. The din eved knaini. Eved knaini avagav lechochosav midi. The eved knaini doesn't pay anything. He's no skin off his teeth. He's not going to pay for this in any way, shape, manner, or form. Koni nafshe. Haigavra nami avad lav techochosav midi. The real chassan isn't spending anything, but he's getting a wife in return for the money that some third party is giving him. The third party is the one who is paying for every knaini, and he's paying now for the kesef kedushin for the chassan. That's a din every knaini. Now comes one more. Tain money leploini. Give, this guy, this chassan here is getting everything. He's getting a wife plus a mona, and she's mukadeshes midin shneihem. I'm giving the mona to the ploini, and she's becoming mukadeshes to him. So how does this work? You have to lose both of them. Midin shneihem means both of them together, and not either one separately, but midin shneihem in combination. What do we have? This woman doesn't get anything, but she's becoming married. She's being makna herself. She's to somebody else. Somebody else is getting the money, not her. So the Gemara then goes around and makes a tzrichas, so you can learn from both of them together. And so when do you end up? Din Shneim isn't really negeya us and ribis, but it turns out that I didn't pay the money and I didn't get the money, and lo and behold, this works. Where is the kinyan kesef? So that's the Din Shneim. It's a kind of a memotzin that you get from both of them together. Now, what I want to do is that's the binyan hav. That's what we're talking about. Binyan hav. I don't mean the limud of binyan hav. I mean that's what we're starting with. We're dealing with the din organ. We didn't have a knaini, and now I want to pretend we're learning kiddushin, and I want to start with the chakira. What is din eved knaini? Forget about all the other applications in a knaini. Kesef is kesef. I know what kesef is. You give money, you get something in exchange. That's the kinyan kesef. When you have a din orev, I didn't give. I'm sorry, eved knaini. When I give money to be mishacher and eved, the eved didn't give any money, and the odin didn't give any money. Certainly, I'm a third party. What am I doing here? How does this work for the eved? How does the eved become mishucher without any money? He's not giving money, and the odin is not getting any money from him. He's not giving the odin's not getting from him. I'm a third party. What have I got to do here? How does this turn out to be a kinyan kesef? There's no kesef. So I think there are three ways. There are three possibilities to understand the din orev. With the first and probably the least evident, but I think I have good company when I say I think it's the strongest, is that in Orev is a new chiddush haTorah. The chiddush haTorah is that I can give money to the eved, and the eved can give it to the odin without the eved doing a thing. He doesn't have to lift the finger. Only what is this? When I give it to the odin, I'm really being mezakeh to the eved, and the eved wants me to give it to the odin, so I'm doing that for him also. So, and how can the eved be zoich? The eved can't be zoich in a moment. So the simplest way, and I think that this is really how it operates, if this is the correct understanding, is like itav boin keachad. It's a kind of a schia to the eved, and how can the eved be zeich? He can't be zeich as an eved. Makon eved kon a rabbi, and here I'm giving it to somebody else for the eved. So I'm doing two things at once. I'm being mezakeh the eved, and after the eved is mezakeh, it goes to the odin. Now this happens simultaneously, obviously. It's kol sheinu b'zachas afil b'sachas, and don't confuse me. That's the din of a knaini, that even though it can't be zachas, it can be b'sachas. Yes.
Why does it have to go through the eved b'chlal? Chesed can't be he's Meshuchar without ever going through him?
That's the third way.
Oh.
Okay, I won't insult you by saying that, but I'll say it anyway. That's the Balabati way. I'll come to it in a second. Not necessarily wrong. Let me just finish this. But this is like Yerusha B'Kever. Now there's no such thing as Yerusha B'Kever. But we talk about things as Yerusha B'Kever. To go to the grandson first has to go to the son, even though the son is a barman, he's a nifter. How can he be Zoich? He's not going to be Zoich. And don't confuse me by telling me that nifter can also be Zoich. That's another piece of theory. But I don't think anybody learns Yerusha B'Kever that way. But this is like the Schia passes through the Eved in one form or another. I think Gita V'Yod Boin Kechad, and that you have two transactions simultaneously is the best way of understanding it. But in terms of the lomdus, if you want to call it Yerusha B'Kever, call it Yerusha B'Kever. That's number one. There's a second way of doing this. There's a second way of explaining, and that is the Torah is Mechadish something else. The Torah is Mechadish. Yes, you need kesef for a king. You can't. What do you mean a king and kesef without kesef? There can't be. There can't be, you can't be dough without flour. You can't have kesef without kesef. And here suddenly this kesef of the Eved without kesef. He's got no kesef here. So what's the Torah's Mechadish? That my kesef is good enough for him to. Who says it has to be Kelev Shalkaina, like with Chlippen? It can be some other person. The Torah was Mechadish and Din, Eved, Knaini. Yeah, there's got to be kesef on the table. But Lav Davke, the kesef of the Eved, it can be somebody else's kesef as well, but it's called kesef. The third way, and I think if you asked anybody, go to 10 people in the Medrash and ask them without telling them anything else, what's the Chiddush of Eved, I think that they would answer, Chiddush of Eved is the only kesef. Right? That's the Chiddush of Eved. It's happening without kesef. You want to know how there can be a kinyan kesef without kesef? Voila. It is. Pulled out of the bag, out of the hat. It created a new kinyan kesef without kesef. You have cake without flour. It's not Mizrahin's cake. Here you have a kinyan kesef without kesef. No. I think that there are Rishonim in each one of these three corners. And I'll try to begin not with Rishonim, because that's my mistake in writing it. I began with the Rambam. I shouldn't have begun with the Rambam. The Rambam was for Reb Chaim. But let me read you what Reb Chaim says, at least, so it won't sound so strange. Again, I think that's Reb Chaim, and I think it's the strongest. But I think that if you ask anybody, it'll be the third. But Reb Chaim agrees with me that can't be pshat, at least not in the Rambam. He doesn't talk about other Rishonim. So you have the Reb Chaim in front of you, and most of the Reb Chaim is not going to be gay right now. But let me give you at least the sentence that is relevant for our purposes. The only thing is, I have to be able to read it. I'm quoting Zelshain. Kiven di yesoy din eveknaini halonema be'etzem nesinas an mois unesinosei shel zeh nechsheves avur chaveroi. The stranger is giving money for the eveknaini. Im kain gam nochri di maid mi. This is Reb Chaim's Chiddush. It has nothing to do with me, at least not now. That just as the nochri is nismai b'din shchis schia memele delese gam b'din eveknaini. That follows that there's no din eveknaini for nochri is only if you accept Reb Chaim's yisod that eveknaini is midin hocus pocus, like I just said, that I'm doing something for the eveknaini and he's giving it to the other, and all happens simultaneously. So he says he doesn't, Chas v'Shalom, he's not saying that this is Schia or the Shlichus, but just as the Nochri is Misnayis and Shlichus, this is a kind of a newfangled Shlichus, and he's Nismayit from this also. That's Reb Chaim's Chiddush. The Nochri is Nismayit. I'll show you Achronim who say that there is a Din Eveknaini for Nochri also. Obviously, not Reb Chaim. They'll have to learn it some other way, but we have other ways of dealing with this. So that's the first Reb Chaim who's explaining this. Now, what I should do, I suppose, is to show you where Reb Chaim got it from. He got it from the Rambam. But that makes things too complicated. I prefer to do it in a roundabout way because I have other Rishonim. I have other Rishonim who are saying essentially the same thing. There's another Gemara that we have to talk about, and then we'll talk. It's not a Brishan technically; he's an early Achron. We have another Gemara. Kaboy Rove, Shtei b'nei sayech l'shnei bonai b'pruta. Bargain. Get 2 daughters for 2 sons for a single pruta. Mahu. How could that possibly be? I have 2 Maisa Kedushin here. I have 2 Chasanim, and I have 2 Kalas, but we'll see something in a second. But I should need a pruta for each one. Meile l'shnei b'nei sayech, Taisa says we're talking about Katanas. And I'm the balabos on both of them. I can sell you 2 fields for a single pruta. Why can't I sell you 2 daughters for a single pruta? Cheaper by the dozen. I give you 1 pruta for both. That much I understand. But it's shtei b'nei sayech l'shnei bonai. I have 2 sons. The sons, when I'm not dealing here with a cotton, we're dealing here with the godel. The 2 have to be gedolim, otherwise how could it be makadosh? In effect, the father's the shliach. It's not the ripar zili. We could do cotton. I don't know how that works altogether, but we're not learning kedushin. We have to worry about it. These are, no one says that these are ketanim. The sons are gedolim. Taisa says that the b'nisayich, they were ketanois. So basar neisenu mekabel amazlinon. What do we do here? We look at their shnei b'nei sayech l'shnei bonai. I'm 1 person. I'm handing you the money, and you're 1 makabel. So it's a pruta. You got a pruta. Or it's enough. 1 pruta should be enough. It was 1 nice and 1 makabel. Or do we look at the Maisa Kedushin? There are 2 daughters. They're going to become mikudoshais. So each one of them has to have a pruta for her kedushin. So that's the shaila in the Gemara. What do we do here? Now, if you were to ask me, what's pshat in this Gemara? We'll talk about Taisus in a second. If you were to have asked me, reading the Gemara with Rashi, I don't know Taisus, I would have said that this is a steer or a I understand what's going on here. I know what this is now. Midin Eveknaini. Somebody is giving money for 2 chasanim. I'm the stranger, and I'm doing this midin Eveknaini. What does Basar Neis and Basar Makabel mean? If I'm giving it for the Eveknaini, I'm giving it for the 2 chasanim. Each one is the pruta. But if you tell me that, and even if there was mizakit each one, so that's mizakit each one separately. But if you tell me that I am the Neisain, I'm the one who's doing all of this, then it's my Maisa. It's helping for somebody else. That's also Neisain. I'm 1 person, and I'm acting for 2 people. Why can't 1 person act for 2 people? There's no reason why I can't act for 2 people. So I go Basar Neisain. It works with Eveknaini, but that's only if you learn Eveknaini the second way. The way I said Eveknaini the second time. Now, the shaila here is basically what's happening here. I mean, I'll give you just this kind of a dimion. You don't need the dimion, but it makes it easier to understand. The shaila here is, what am I acting for myself? Only the chalois works for somebody else, or am I acting for 2 other people? I think that this part of the chakira, forget the rayas, forget the third part. This is exactly Talmid Machlekes Turim the Rambam with regard to a person makes a shliach nishtate. So everybody knows what the Machlekes is. It's what's a shliach. When I'm a man, a shliach, what is a pshat? Is I have 2 hands, now I have a 3rd hand. So the shliach is kiyad mishalchoi, but I can't put his head on my shoulders. If I chalil become mishnata, I can't use his head. That isn't going to work. So if it's a 3rd hand and the person mishalach becomes a shaita, so everything is off. Bets are off. There's nothing here. Mashe'en, if you tell me that the shlichus is I'm mana gaver b'achikoi, he's doing what he's doing, only the chalois helps for me, then I was mamana him. Now he's a shliach. He's an independent agent, literally. An agent's a shliach. He's independent. What's he going to do with me? I have 2 heads. And if I had a das in any one of the 2 heads, it would be good enough. Well, why is that? I don't have to have das in 2 heads. Das in 1 head, this is not. The shliach now becomes the oisa hamaisa, and the Baruch Hashem has das, and that's all that I need. Okay, that's just the chira so far. And I now have a rayim for Reshes against Reb Chaim, except along comes Taisus, and Taisus says something that on the surface doesn't make terribly much sense. And even by the time I'm finished with the Marit, I'm also not sure I know what Taisus means. The Taisus says that, let me read, my problem is I can't see. Taisus says that, Taisus says, Bosar Nesin de Ko'amar Lav Davke. Does it mean Bosar Nesin at all? Shari Nesin al Korchach V'Teir Shlichus Bonov Nesin. You can't be more than a Shliach here. So wait a minute, I can't go, I have to go Bosar Nesin. He's doing the Maisa Kiddushin. The Bosar Nesin as Leinon, Haboy Shtei Prutos. So you have to have two separate Prutos. So what is Taisus saying here? That Bosar Nesin is Lav Dafke. And what Taisus is trying to accomplish here by saying it's Bosar Nesin Lav Dafke. So there is a Marit. The Marit says that what Taisus means to say is, I'll read you the words of the Marit. He's saying, She'ein kan nesinas hanesin shu hakoine, elo nesinose shel hanesin me'eles avur acher, shu acher midin evik naini. He's saying, I'm a stranger. And what's the Chiddush? The Chiddush is that the stranger's act, he is the Nesein, and it works for the other person. Now, that's what the Marit saying. So the Marit certainly disagrees with Rechaim. And now he's trying to tell me what Taisus says. And he tells Taisus means Lav De'afti, means the Nesein is not the Mekadesh. Don't think that the Gemara says Bosar Nesin because they know the Nesin is not the Mekadesh, so it can't be Bosar. That's the Lav Dafke. But Avali it's going Bosar Nesin. Only the Nesin is acting independently. He's not acting as the Nesin for whoever is going to become the Chosin here. It's a Lav Dafke, the Nesin of the Kesef Kedushin. He's giving Kesef, and it's Keilu, I gave the Kesef for somebody else. So it's clear. He's saying this Pshat and Taisus. Whether you agree with Taisus, you don't agree with Taisus, but I don't understand how you can learn Taisus differently. Whether the Loshen is difficult. I'm not a stickler for whether this is what Lav Dafke means. But what Taisus is saying certainly seems to be what the Marit is saying that the Taisus really means. That's the Marit. Now we have the other two possibilities, and we have to produce Rishonim who will accept one or another of those possibilities. Let me draw your attention to some other Rishonim. I got them from the Kuntras Shurim of Yisrael. What was his name? Gustman, yeah. We saw Gustman on Kiddushin. The Kuntras Hashurim on Kiddushin. There is a Talmidei Harashba. And Talmidei Harashba, I'll read it to you. It's Shtei B'Nesayach Shtei Bonai. The Bonim Elu, Kivin Shem Gedolim, Hari Kesef HaKiddushin Shnesim Avihem, Kilu Heim, Vari Inohu Ulachol Chad V'Chad Minayu V'Hadai Leke Elachatzi Pruta. He's giving it for them, so he's giving half a pruta for them. So what does this all mean? V'Im Kain Heichi Omer Lahedye V'Likum Amoina. We're saying this Amoina. Bosar Nesin. We have moment here. Where's the moment? Zachatzi Pruta for each one. Umitechat Chak Yesh L'Taritz. This is the Talmid of the Rav Yonah. The Kivin the Chazinon B'Kiddushin. Shein tzorach lemekadesh yiten hu hakidushin elo afil yiten acher havim kudeshes. This is kagoin. This will begin evik naini. Helech mon viskad shil ploini ki azlinon bosar nesein shenesin hakidushin mishaloi yispei mamayna. What does that mean? I go bosar nesein who's giving his own money, and there's a moment. That means that the Nesein here is the Mekadesh, not for himself or somebody else. That's the Neviknaini. So who's the Mekadesh here? Not the Chosin. And who's paid the Eviknaini? Not the Eviknaini. Another party. Money never got to him. That's the Chiddush HaTorah and didn't have Eviknaini. Like have a Kenyan moment without paying any money. Somebody else can give the money for me. And it's his money, it's his mindset, and it works. So that's the Talmidei de Rabbeinu Yonah, and that remains whatever was said for anything else. That's a sheet in Rishonim. Now we have a third. This is really interesting. The third is a Radvaz. We have a Radvaz who's quoted by the Mishnah Melech in Perikei Mehilchos Ishus. Now, quote, V'roisi. This is the Mishnah Melech saying, Shenishal, that Vaz was being asked, B'mishezora Kedushin Leleya, V'loiho Yushavim Prute, V'lo Yispik Ulagi Eliodo, Achinish Yakru V'omdo Al Prute Mahu. Now, I think if I asked anybody, you tell me immediately what's the shaila here. He gave it to her. By the time she wasn't cleaned it until it reaches her. By the time it got to her, it was Rosh Hashanah Pruta. What's the shaila here? That's the second shot, and the second mahalach in the Radvaz. Radvaz has two mahalachim. He says, Bosar neisin aslinon v'leka pruta, v'loi komechzar v'loi midi, hirkach leikoni. When he gave it, he wasn't giving anything. He was giving pox and Mishava Pruta, so therefore nobody should be doing anything. Or do we look at the Makab? She got a Pruta. He didn't give a Pruta, but she somehow managed to get a Pruta. He's throwing something at her, and all of a sudden it's Nisyaker. In the course of the Zrika, she gets the Pruta, but he didn't give a Pruta. I suppose there are other ways you could figure out how this should work. But we don't have to look for anything more than this. It was Nishyaka and the Shuk. That's good enough for us. And by the time she got it, it's Bosa Makabal as Leinon Voyika Pruta. He is being Medamit to the Lotion of the Gemara, Bosa Makabal as Leinon, or he doesn't tell us what the other is. Do we go Bosa Makabal or don't we go Bosa Makabal? Do we go Bosa Neisen? The Gemara said Bosa Neisen, Makabal as Leinon. In the Gemara's case, they were both the same. Here, there's a difference between the Kabul and the Neisen. So Ravaz, in effect, is saying that you have to take the Gemara and slice it apart and see which is really the crucial point, the Neisen or the Makabel. The Heishiv, this is the crucial point. Hadover bor the bosser didei aslinon. I'm sorry, bosser dido aslinon. Why? Share ein no miskadeshes el misho shigi amois liodo. She's only Mekudeshes when she gets the money. By the time she gets it, it's worth a pruta. The avagaf kishinosan hu lo yeshav pruta v'loy mechzar vaday midi. He's not losing anything. He only lost less than the shav pruta. Mikol mokim koni. So what do you have to say here? I would have said he's kaina because she got it, and by the time she got it from somebody who gave her a pruta, either from himself or from somebody else. He says something else. He says it's totally different. Koni mi didn't have a knaini. The afagaf leichosar midi. The Naisain didn't give anything. He gave Paulus Mishav pruta. Paulus Mishav pruta is ilch. It's nothing. Koni nafshe. This person didn't spend anything. What's the chiddush of Eviknaini? You can become married, or you can make a kinyan kesef without kesef. There was no kesef here altogether, and afal pikain, it's good. And then he says, "Visu the birshusay nisyakrov omdal pruta." It was worth a pruta before she got it. It was still his when it became a pruta. So what's the shayla altogether? But the first half is the chiddush. She's telling me the din of Eviknaini. He's telling me the din of Eviknaini is Teres Mechadish here, that you don't need moment to have a din of Eknaini. You can have a din of Eknaini without moment. And the Torah says, hocus pocus, so you can become Meshucher without anybody spending any money. Okay?
Without money or without Nesina?
Without Nesina of money, yeah, right? Same thing. Without a hakno of kesef in return. Good, fine. So that's those are the three ways that we could understand all of this. Now, I want to go back just a little bit and to see another Gemara that I think is understandable best according to Rav Chaim, but even way number 2 makes it understandable. I don't think way number 3 makes it understandable at all. We have the following Gemara. It's Bavnitzias Samates on days. Omarova. Shored le'inish le'meimar le'lechavre. Heilech dalit zuzit. V'oisfei leflani zuz. I'm giving you money, and you give a zuz to somebody else b'teres halva. I'm giving 4 zuzim, and you're going to give him a zuz b'teres halva. Presumably, you're going to get that zuz back, but look at the profit you're making. You're making 3 zuzim on 1 zuz. It's a pretty good return. It's a very high rate of interest. And this is basically a form of interest. Only who's paying it? Not the leiva. Somebody else is doing it. So, says the Gemara, that this is le'osra Torah. Why? Ela ribis habo miloy v'lamalva. Anu halacha. If I didn't have this Gemara, I would say that this is a din haveknaini. This stranger here is giving you money, and you're lending money. You're somebody out there. You're an haveknaini. So midin haveknaini, there should be a din ribis. Haveknaini works for kedushin. It works for everything else. Why shouldn't it work for ribis also? And it does work for ribis. We'll have enough other examples. But says the Gemara, le'os roteiro el ribis habo miloy v'lamalva. What's pshat in the Gemara? I suppose that if you read the Gemara literally, the Gemara is telling me that if there's no ribis paid by the loiva himself personally, there's nothing here. You have to have ribis that comes miloiva lamalva. And why? Because Gemara brings a posuk, l'sashich. The ribis is only if I'm taking a bite out of you. But if it's no skin off your back or no money out of your account, that's not called ribis miloiva lamalva. If I get ribis from anybody else, who cares? I know, zil bosa time. We can talk all we want about chayachichimach, why the terasa ribis. It's a form of tzedakah, and we don't want the loiva to pay. What do I care if Mr. Moneybags pays? He's the rich man here. He's not borrowing money altogether. If he's not borrowing money, let him pay through the nose for all we care. There's no use of ribis. I think that's how they teach the Gemara in the 8th grade. No, I don't think it's shot in the Gemara, but that's the literal shot in the Gemara. Now that's one thing. So good. So we have a clear Gemara, and we don't have to look for any complicated way of explaining the Gemara. It seems to be pretty simple. Comes along Taisus, same daf Ayin Aleph Amud Aleph. Don't see it. Hamalve me'iso l'chaverei kidei sheyifra l'nochri ribis b'shviloi. Suddenly, till now we're talking with Jews. He found something the Jew was another Jew. Now he found he was malve me'iso chaverei, and he wanted kidei sheyifra l'nochri ribis b'shviloi. He owes the guy money. And he's lending the Jew money so that the Jew should pay the ribis to the goy, and obviously he's going to return it to the Jew. So the Jew is paying ribis for another Jew, for the malva for the loiva who is Yisrael, and he's paying the Yisrael's koy, the ribis koy, he's paying it to the akum. So what is this? This is called din orav, isn't it? I've got somebody else, a third party, who's paying for me. The orav, he's paying actually out of pocket. So midin orav, it should all be also. But doesn't come miyad malva loiva. It's not miyad malva loiva. It's going to the goy, and who's paying it? Somebody else, not me. It's the orav who's paying it. So it didn't come from the loiva to the malva. The loiva is not paying it altogether for himself. What's wrong here? Says Taisus, he says, Harehu kenoisein lemalva atzma mitzad midin oriv. That's the lashon of Taisus. Taisus says it's no good because it's din oriv. What kind of din oriv is there here? If it didn't come me level lemalva, I don't care. If din haveknaini, I didn't care. If I didn't care and din haveknaini was a perfectly valid din haveknaini, perfect kinyan. Only it's not also because it didn't come from the malva, from the leva to the malva. Here it didn't come from the leva to the malva. The Arab is a rich man. What do I care about the leva? He's not the one who borrowed this money in the first place, and never came from the leva to the malva. So what's happening here? If I think it's easiest to understand if we start with Taisus. I'm sorry, if we start with Rechaim. If we learned the first way, then what does din orav mean? Din orav means that I'm a third party, but I'm being mizak. I'm a third party, and I'm being mizaka the Evaknaini, and he's paying somebody else. What do you mean it didn't come miyad leva l'malva? Of course it came Yad Lev L'malva. I gave it to you, I didn't hand it to you, but it became yours. And after it became yours, it went to somebody else, but it came from you. Don't confuse me and tell me you never had it in your hand. Whoever said you had to have it in your hand. Miyad Lev L'malva doesn't mean you have to have it in the hand. Oh, that's the Lashon Gemara. It means who's the real payer here? Who's paying the money? If this means that you got it and you're paying it, then you paid it. So there's Neshicha from you. Metaphysical Neshicha, a Lomdish Neshicha. You didn't have it, but you're the Neshech. I gave you the money, you were zeichen the money. You didn't have the money before. Before there couldn't be Neshicha. Once I gave it to you and you gave it to somebody else, or I gave it for you to somebody else, I took your money. It's Neshicha from you. It's your money. That's Reb Chaim. The Gemara is beautiful. Taisus is good, and it's got nothing to do. It's not miyad malva leiva. Malva leiva is just it's what an outsider looking at this thinks is going on here. You could explain it according to the second way also. I think it's harder, but I think you could do it the second way too. You could do it the second way by saying very simply that what's happening here. What is din evekdaini? Din evekdaini means that I am doing it, but the chalois is for you. And if I give it to a third party and the chalois is for you, it's exactly the same thing. There's neshicha here. The chalois was on your behalf, sure, so you never had it, but it became yours in this metaphysical world or whatever. And sof kol sof, I did it on your behalf, like zochin me'odam or whatever. And so I was zeichet to you also at the same time. But it was a zeichet to you, but it's my maisa, not your maisa. But my maisa is for you. So when it got to the other person, it's sof kol sof, it's a maisa for you, and it ends up to be in the shikha from you as well. I think that's how you would have to explain if you don't accept Reb Chaim's Mahalach. If you tell me the third way, I don't understand this altogether. What's the difference? So you tell me Taisus doesn't hold the third way. I'm happy with that. I think the third way is very dochu to start with. So whatever you do with the Taisus, you take either one or two, but there can't be three. So we have different Rishonim lined up different ways. Now,
How does Rabbi know to equate din Arv and din Avikanani for this purpose?
I'm sorry?
How does Rabbi know to equate din Arv and din Avikanani for this purpose? I mean, maybe Arv will understand as Ki'ul, the money went to the...
Or
in this case.
No.
Like
Yeah, but or if I don't, I have to explain what the words in the Gemara mean. That is, didn't come yad malva leiva. Why in this case, even though it didn't come, he didn't malva leiva, well, it should be a heter gomer. Even more reason we didn't or it should be heter gomer. The answer has to be, in one way or another, that I'm doing all of this on your behalf, and therefore it's ke'ilu you already zeichen the money.
Right. So naniach that's true, but din Arv, why does it have to be true but Avikanani?
Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
What doesn't make sense?
Evekdaini.
I was like, if
You want to say din Arv works differently from din Evekdaini?
Yeah, if they equate them.
Well, if you want, you can. But I have problems understanding din Evekdaini, and it seems to me that you line them up. It's one single mahalach. Why do I have to make two mahalachim if there's a simple mahalach to go through both of them?
I guess I'm sorry, the other direction. Who said it the same? Okay.
Sorry? Who says what's the same?
Who said Arv and Avikanani should be the same? Why are we starting from the assumption that we have to explain the same?
Because I have problems with Tosis. What's Tosis telling me here? The Gemara tells me that my problem is the Tosis. I don't understand Tosis.
Well, definitely. The Gemara, like, there's also talking about Vaso trying to explain why an Arv is nishtapit.
Yep.
Right? There's no sugi in the Gemara about how do we know Avikani, what.
Everything is Zerzakos.
Because, right. So the Arv, the Gemara is not satisfied just saying Zerzakos by Arv.
No. No.
So, right?
Yep.
So apparently the Gemara thinks, like, okay, so Avikani will be one thing, and an Arv was a different sugya. It's a different, Arv, the Gemara understands, whatever the hechrach is, the Gemara understands that Arv has to be kilu the Arv got the money.
So you're making it even better.
Whatever it is.
You're making it even
better. Yeah,
but you're making it even better. Because it's sof kol sof, it did not come miyad leiva l'malva. So you have to tell me that even though it didn't come miyad leiva l'malva, it makes no difference because whatever the Arv is doing, he's doing for the malva. He's doing for the leiva.
The Rishonim have is kilu ki b'amos.
Sure, kilu ki b'amos is what I'm learning Avikani also.
Right, but the Rishonim don't have a lashon like that, but Avikani.
I know we don't have a lashon like that. Only I explained it that way. I explain.
Plausible. But I don't know if that's a cash on a different malach.
No, how do I explain Taisus?
There's no Ariv. By Ariv and Ariv.
But Tommy had Malvul later.
I'm sorry. Ariv, the Rishayim told me in Babasha, not here. The Rishayim
Okay.
said the Ariv always works kilo. The Ariv is makab.
So you're telling me that even if I learn Evakani differently, I should learn Ariv this way and I'll be Shalom al Yisrael. I won't have any problem.
Right.
But Ariv will certainly work this way. That I'm doing the Maisa on behalf of somebody else.
Yeah.
It's my Maisa, but it's on behalf of somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mind. That's okay. Except that if once I have it in one, I can understand the Mahalach in the other also. But I know Hanami. You're right. You don't have to learn in Ariv. We don't learn in Evakani. We work that way also. Now, I don't really know what to do. The rest will take an awful long time. So I would prefer to leave it for next time. But next time I want to talk about what we began with, the two shilas that we had, the one that speaks of and the other one came up. And I have something else, and here I will ask you to do me a favor. It's my Negela Maisa. I knew about these things long ago, but it happened just a week or two ago to me. Rabbi Willie is probably the only one in the room who remembers when a storekeeper could not charge you extra if you used a credit card. Those days were long gone.
I remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I do remember it.
Also, talking to the Okay. Once upon a time was absolutely awesome. Now it's Heter Gomer. He has two prices, and one price is if you pay cash. The other price is if you pay by credit card. Now it's not terribly common. It doesn't play well in Peoria, but the Jews are pikrim. I ordered wine from Kedem, and they tell me I usually order by credit card. It's easier. And we have to make out a check and pay postage on the credit card. I'll pay when the credit card comes. She says it's one price if you send in the check, and another price if you pay by credit card. 3% he's adding for the credit card. Now, I'm sure if I were to ask the Balabos, why are you adding 3%? He would tell me that 3% is what he's paying the credit card company. And if he's a London, he'll tell me it's Skar Sefer, who knows what. I didn't want to call up his Rav HaMachshir to ask him, how do you permit such things? It sounds to me as if we have a Shail of Ribbis here. But I don't think that this is Skar Sefer. Because I suspect, I don't know, it's one of the things you can find out for me. What do the credit cards, different credit cards charge more? American Express charges more than anybody else. That's why lots of people take Visa and MasterCard, but not American Express. That's the secret. They're paying more for American Express, therefore they don't want to pay more. And they can't pass it on to you because it's a shanda, it doesn't look right, it looks like taking advantage of you, or once upon a time it was also. So, in Urch, whatever it is. But Jews, they're picky, they know how to do this. I want to know whether there's a shaila here or is there no shaila. Now, what I should do is to go look in the Sorim. The problem is there's so many, I don't know where to look first. If anybody knows of anyone, there are now all kinds of kitzurim, all kinds of new shailas that have come up.
Check Balacha, it's called section credit cards.
Who?
Check Balacha.
I have a safe in my room.
What's
It's check ba'alocha.
Check.
Check ba'alocha.
Check ba'alocha.
Yeah, the whole section on credit
I'll
cards.
give it to you in a few minutes.
Who wrote it?
A rabbi.
Just did today.
Yes, many good haskamas and great people.
Okay. I've written about the check ba'alocha, not ribbis. I've written how you can use a check to avoid ribbis. But that's something else. Since what's the nature of a check? What is a check in halacha?
He has something called kartisei ashroi.
Kartisei ashroi. Okay, that's not checks. Kartisei ashroi aren't checks. So again, I like to borrow it. But if but this is not mamish. This time it became a shaila. I don't know what the answer is yet. Maybe I'll know by next week. But it's not the first time I had such a shaila. The first time I had such a shaila, once upon a time, gas stations, again, some people remember, one price, cash or credit. That was one price, cash or credit, when they weren't allowed to charge more money for credit. Now you go to every gas station, there are two prices. A cheaper price for gas and another price for credit. There's a Gulf station on Foster Avenue, going from Prospect Parkway to Flatbush, and One fine day, I was told that it was bought by a fine Jew, a Shemer Mitzvahs. I know the family. He's never there. The Goyim were on the place, but he's the balabos. I always use a credit card to buy gas. Why would I use this to buy gas? It's more money. Only I save money. I save money because that way I have a record and I can take the gas off the income tax as a business expense. If I don't have a credit card and I don't have a receipt, how am I going to take it off the income tax? I have to prove it. So it pays for me to pay the extra, quote, ribis, close quote, to a goy in order to be able to collect from Uncle Sam or to be menakeh from Uncle Sam. As soon as I heard that the Jew is owning this, I realized that this is bad news. He's charging me two prices. One, bakofe, chatis ashroy is bakofe, and the other one is cash. I don't know how you get around that. Huh?
You're calling it right now. No?
Oh, maybe you think about it till next week, and you'll tell me all the heterim you can think of. I know what the king situmt is here, what the situmt is, how it works.
There's an argument of Shul on Shabbos.
Yeah.
They say if
A
Kanan
dentist
also.
came to us.
Yeah,
The same thing.
he wants to charge more.
He has
He does.
cash credits.
He does.
Yeah, so he told me the way it works though is that the credit card company charges the consumer. They don't charge him.
That's not true.
He changed it. That's the way he does it.
But not in the gas station.
He never sees that money.
But in,
It goes from me to the credit card
but
company.
in the gas station, they didn't set
Yeah, I'm
up.
saying. That's-
Wait a minute, goes from me to the credit card company.
when I charge the credit card, 97% of my payment goes to the dentist, and 3% of it goes directly to the credit card company's account. He never sees it. It doesn't go through him. That's the way he set it up. It's a new thing. That's the way he set it up.
Impossible. It's impossible.
That's what he told me. He set it up.
This is not the what you call it. It's not the internet. When I used the credit card, how did the 3% get to the credit card company? It didn't get to the credit card company. The credit card company didn't get a penny. Forget the 3%.
I'm saying
Until he deposits it in the bank. He's looking at deposits to the credit card.
The credit card company
Just tell me the physics, the metaphysics.
They just don't pay him that much money.
Of course they don't pay him. They deduct
don't pay him
it.
that much money.
They deduct it. That's ribis. Okay, we'll talk about it. It's ribis.
With small businesses, credit cards have an arrangement. Some of them they pay after 2 days. Sometimes they're going to pay after 30 days if they want to take a higher rate. Whatever it
Yes.
is. So they arrange with them that if you bill us, if you tell us we're going to bill the patient for this amount on the credit card, $100, we're going to take from his account, we're going to send that over to you. We're going to make an additional transaction that same very day, and that's not going to go to the dentist. It's going to go to our credit card company. That'll be always 3%. But that's one arrangement he had. You're not finding
Not everyone does
most
that.
people
That's
have
what he
done.
does.
Yes.
I
So a lot of
understand.
people can say credit cards are always every Kanani. The same.
I don't understand how the credit card company got the 3%. He didn't get the 3%.
They
He
do it
get,
for me.
Yeah.
When I pay the credit card bill, that's what they're going to do. They're gonna
but
take
he
it from
has.
me.
But he has to take it and give it to them.
No.
But what's
The dentist never takes it.
it.
When the dentist charges me $100, the credit card company simultaneously charges me $3. So they're going to pay him $100. They're going to take $300 from me.
Two charges.
two separate charges?
Yeah.
One a charge to the customer.
And one to their one.
Dentist.
No, the credit.
That could make it worse. It's a direct ribis to the credit card company.
They're going.
Yeah, I think you have to lock the bank. The same thing all over again.
Yeah, that's about, we're
okay.
we don't go with that amount.
Yeah. Then we're all together.
You don't have to wait till the Foster Avenue gas station. Every gas station.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. All right.
That's
So,
his situation. Is that?
and everybody else does what? He deposits and then pays.
No, so most people, it's the credit card company charges the
Charges
merchant.
them. They take 3% of their profits. The company,
Sure.
the store's profits.
They take 3%, and he deposits the whole thing in the bank, and it goes straight into his account, and then he makes out a check for the 3%.
They'd probably just take it straight.
I mean, and I don't understand how.
They just deposit into the bank.
I still
and
don't
97%
quite
of the
understand. There's some panky going on between the bank and the credit card company, because basically the credit card company is treating the kartis ashrai, the piece of paper given them, is treating it basically as if it were a check, and he's depositing the check in the bank, and now he owes money to the credit card company. The bank that goes into his bank account. That's true. This is the way I understand
You don't
it.
need a bank to have.
The way I understand it is that if I give the merchant a credit card, it's like I gave him a check. He takes it and he puts it into his bank account, and he gets credit for the full amount. And now he has to make out his payment to the credit card company. As soon as the credit card company gets the check in the mail, it sends him a bill for 3%.
The credit card companies do it within 24 hours, 2 days.
I know.
They're not getting the check until the end of the month. The credit card company is the one putting out lots of the money.
It's a double halva because the credit card company is also lending to the merchant. So they're lending to the.
Yes.
It's a double halva.
It's a double halva if it's immediate.
Right.
And for the full amount.
Right.
It's a halva for the full amount immediately. That's how I understood it.
But they're not waiting for the check in the mail. They're giving out the halva.
Well, I don't have to wait for the check in the mail. You tell me you got the check, so you have to, I believe you. You're telling me something different. You're telling me he's never getting it in the first place.
You can use a credit card. If I have zero money in my bank, I can still use a credit card. Maybe next month they're going to cram it. But they don't even have my check today to take the credit card, to use the credit card.
He uses the credit card even though I don't have money in the bank.
Yeah, zero money in the bank.
I have overdraft. He's treating the credit card as if it's
overdraft. It's not in advance. It's only going to be paid at the end of the month. But
no, he gets it tomorrow.
The credit card company will lay out my money, but not because I pay zero interest on that for the first month.
Yeah, I'm not worried about your interest. I'm worried about what's happening on the other side. Yeah. I'm not worried about you. You're not paying anything.
The merchant will never see 2.8% from Visa, whether they pay on time or late. They'll never see that.
The merchant will never see it. Again, you're telling me things like...
They never get it. They get 90% of the profit. The credit card's taking that 3% off the top.
Yeah, but
they're not even showing it to them for a moment.
I'm taking it from the merchant because the merchant got 100 cents on the dollar from his bank. That's how I understand it. You're telling me you're not getting 100 pennies on the dollar from the bank? Never. The bank is paying it to him.
Yeah.
He's never going to get it from
the bank is in cahoots.
Everyone's in cahoots.
You'll have to pardon me. I'm Oritz in Darkei HaMisker.
The store never sees it.
I don't think no one sees money at all. That's for another couple. Nobody sees any money anytime, except some strange people who use money. Nobody else ever sees money. The stock will be.
You want to speak next Tuesday? Again?
No, it doesn't have to be next Tuesday.
Why not?
No. Okay, we'll go in order.
The Rabbi Amar doesn't seem to work out, so it is open. Okay.
What?
Do you want to finish?
No, I'd rather not. I'd rather go further.
Okay, fine,
Yeah,
so we'll work something out.
Sure. Oh, we have two open-ended. It's also open-ended.
Also about corporations.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
11.
In the case of Kedem will take a check from you also.
Yeah.
So then the amount they charge for your credit card isn't because you're not paying on time. They'll be happy to charge you nothing extra if you pay by check. It's also not on time.
No one else will pick it.
Well, it's all part of the story.
Right,
I don't know exactly what's going on here.
So that 3%, doesn't that make it clear that 3% is not because you're not for Agranata, that 3% is because the credit card costs the money, whatever it is.
What is the check?
Either way, you aren't paying them on time. Whatever the check was.
Sure. If they want, I'm paying him on time. He takes the check today. I'm in the store. He runs off to the bank. It's gone today. You got it.
Yeah, it could be, but you're definitely not being mishalim when you get the store. You took the thing, you gave him something by which he can get payments, whether you call it shtar or tzavot to the bank.
I call it tzavot.
Right, that probably made more sense also. But okay, so I gave him the ability to get money, but I didn't pay him.
I told somebody to give him.
I didn't tell him. I didn't tell the bank anything.
Sure.
If he'll bring this to the bank, then it will be that I told the bank.
No. If I sign it, I don't have to go to the bank. He can go and have it certified.
He has to go do something. He can't use it right now.
No. He can use it immediately. It's immediately. It's a vote to the bank. They have to honor it immediately. So if you went, they could get it.
Isn't there built-in delay because he can't until he deposits it? However long that takes.
Next door.
So I paid him 5 minutes late.
No? Now you do it with the machine.
So it'll take 2 minutes. So I paid him 2 minutes late.
Before I made a Mashiach on the wine.
That's true. Maybe.
He could do it before I made the Mashiach on the wine if I had him the show.
Okay. He's not
Okay.
going to do that.
Yeah. Good. So we have to deal with each one of the scenarios.
So you tell him I'm only paying you if you let me do Mashiach first.
Leave that out. Speak next Tuesday, either before
Okay.
Leave that out.
Have you given more thought to
Last week I couldn't walk
the
out.
COVID by the Kol Lahora on Hilchot Shuvas? It's all of Rebbe's articles and Rabbi Reese's articles. And
Yeah, the only problem is that you have stuff to go through. Can I borrow that
Yeah, I'll
safer?
bring it in.
I don't know what I have to go through. That all the charts.
Rebbe doesn't have to go through them, but I didn't.
Makes sense. Why not?
Okay. But does Rebbe have to get permission from Ktav to publish? And
The Hebrew articles.
The English articles. The English
Oh, the
articles.
English. You have to ask for that.
If Rebbe
Usually,
wants to edit them anyway, now that Rebbe gave this whole introduction today, how they could have been done better, if Rebbe wants to rewrite them.
thank you very much.
But I also Toledano, which Sefer had Mishpat Kinyanim. Mishpat Kinyanim for Toledano also has a whole section on credit cards.
Oh yeah?
Actually,
We have it
email to
right
Rebbe.
there. Have it stuff right behind Rebbe.
Yeah,
It's right there, on the shelf. Right here.
Where's
The
it?
black set right there. On the bottom, on the shelf. Further, to the left. Skiros, and then Kinyan. I don't know which one it is, but 4 volumes.
He's a very good thing. He's very convinced that all credit cards we didn't have a Kanani.
I don't go back to Poland.
He makes the argument very strong.
We're still in Gaza. I know.
We're still in Gaza, and we don't need a reminder of that. Okay.
I saw something to. So maybe I'm a coward.
I don't know if they exploit the credit cards well. It shouldn't.
It's not so good. I didn't think it was so complicated.
Running 11 tonight. No, I said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know the protein, but Shmuel Rosenbaum is Ish Yosher, and I trust the dentist. I trust him that he's not being over.
In case you don't know, Harav.
No, that was
Credit cards.
I checked the house.
Credit cards.
All right.
Yeah, sure. But when you finish, I'm still saying Shia on Rivers now. So
Okay, I'll do that.
okay, thank you.
It's,
We determined it was much better.
I'm going to show you a picture. I find this very nice.
So if I quote, I check my luck on the next day or two, I'll be able to quote it about Pep, so that now.
and there's a year of publication.
What can I say?
10 years ago, Ein Gimel, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Ein Gimel.
This one.
This is Toledano and credit cards.
Fill it down on credit cards. Okay. All this stuff. Your shoes I got.
Okay. Whatever Rebbe wants to do, I'm happy to facilitate.
Is there tissue from Bookmark?
When to give the next part, and if Rebbe should have the Arifas Yamim to redo them.
Thank you.
Redo them properly.
Put on more first, then you can redo them after.
Yeah.
The problem is I crush Chadati Miatiki. The other way around. I've got to, there's still things have to be gotten out of the house.
Shirafutsu, keep going.
Okay.
Rebbe should start a kol, a team of contemporary halachic problems, people who work on.
I'm trying to get you to do my work for me.
Right. At the very least,
But
whatever Rebbe wants, if Rebbe could just set up a recorder and just speak, we can always transcribe it later. And that's always like we did 2 weeks ago with the Shir on Monday.
Why isn't Rebbe convinced by Evi Kanani for credit cards?
there's no, I don't know how that works. There's no effect.
Why
Not
not?
effect.
Why not? The credit card is paying on your behalf.
The credit card isn't the government.
Why not?
Credit card is a piece of paper.
It's a corporation.
It's a corporation, no.
So the corporation, the corporation can't pay on my behalf.
Corporation's a fiction. That the real
Corporations are
But
fiction.
I'm saying corporation.
So somebody's getting nervous.
If there's an organization that pays money to free Avadim, that won't be Shachar Evi Kanani. The money transfer, who says that had to be from? It wasn't from the yard of no sin. It's a corporation. Who cares?
No,
that's the
not.
Chesed Torah. It doesn't have to be a no sin.
Wait a minute. I have 2 separate shilas. One shilah is who are they paying it for?
For me,
For you, or for the for Kedem?
both. It's a double halva.
Double halva. So
They're paying on my behalf, and they're paying upfront kedem.
so they're paying. That's every 90.
For me, at least, yeah.
Okay, so
Kinyan deraisa.
from paying ribbis. Yeah.
I'm saying the 3% would be a problem then. With,
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm
fine.
saying if you assume that
Okay,
the Kinyan
we'll
deraisa.
talk about it next week.
We still have Kinyan
Analyze it all you want, and then we'll have a free for all.
My friend said who did credit card processing. Every bank is 2.8%, Amex is 3.5. Those are the numbers.
I think it's negotiable for some. No?
Yeah, he said the standard rate. He did credit card processing 2.8.
Yeah. I realize that Kedem is making something here.
2.8 to 3.5.
He'll tell you that's for the tircha. I know.
Maybe if only stores like Evergreen and Muncie, they'll deliver it to you, and you pay the whole thing by cash, including delivery charge. Then you'll avoid the rivets. That might be a way to do it.
It's a service fee.
You don't want to pay on it. You don't want to use the credit card.
Well, but then you avoid the rivets problem. You pay.
Yeah, but I want to use the credit card.
Oh, the wine too?
I don't. I didn't, but I would like to. It's easier. I can.
Right.
Number one, I get 2% back.
Okay. Now
that's talking. Number one.
Now we're talking.
Number two, I save money. Instead of making, I buy wine every week. Instead of paying postage every week, I pay once a month. Right? I have the rest of my checks. So certainly less of a tircha, less people and I save on the postage. It's always. I always prefer credit cards.
The 2% you get is really from this 3%.
I know. I realize that.
So you're only getting the 1%.
No. I realize, but it's not structured that way.
And some things
it's called a rebate.
Something like a car rental. I think car rentals can only be done with a credit card. I don't think you possibly.
Everyone's losing.
They won't take my money. They won't take my cash.
Most stores say no. You know,
there are businesses that won't. They don't want their salesmen to take cash. They don't trust them. They want only credit cards. That exists, I heard out there.
Yeah.
They don't want cash.
Yeah,
Can't be
car rentals only want credit cards.
I have enough problems trying to figure out what they think it is. I should say it turns out to be a kinyan situmta for me. These aren't kinyanim for them.
Why? Kedem doesn't think you're buying wine when you give him the credit card number?
As a whole,
no. Kedem knows.
Kedem thinks it's a loan?
I don't know what Kedem thinks, but he knows that whatever the kinyanim are situmta. Giving credit cards not situmta, I can be facer. I can return the merchandise. Who knows what?
You can return the merchandise with cash also.
If that's different. It's a kinyan return.
So why is this not a situmta with the return?
You think so? What did I do? What did I pay you? I gave you a credit card.
I gave you the credit card number. That was a handshake. Kinyan situmta. And then you close on the kinyan.
No, I gave you more than I gave you money. It's a loan somehow or other.
Why is it a loan? It's a kinyan situmta.
And my handshake, there's no money. And here there are all kinds of Skype going on with it.
So it's even better than a handshake. It's a better situmta.
Yeah, it's worse.
Why?
It turns into rivers.
If it's a halva.
But why isn't it a halva? You're telling me chidushim on top of chidushim. I don't want a halva. I only want kinyan situmta. And what I'm doing later, I don't need money, so I should pay that.
In every transaction, you walk into the store, you give them a credit card number. You're never going to see these people again. Your local bodega. Yeah. You bought the flour from them. That's what happened. You brought the drink. You're never going to see them again. They're not choshesh. You're going to be choshesh. There's no halva. You have nothing to do with them. You're never going to come. You're never going to be choshesh.
That's not called kinyan situmta.
Why not?
Because
you walk in, your handshake, you take the product, you leave.
No. He knows better.
If he knew better, he'd have his chayvus for you. He'd get your phone number and get your address
because
and stay on top of you.
He knows he can't lose. But he
that's
knows,
why it's a situmta, no?
No. He knows that there are halvos around. He may not know the lomdus of halvos. So he knows there's some kind of loan going on here.
Why can't he be Rashi. I come to you and say, have a start over. Here you go, I want to buy it.
Now I have a problem with rivers.
That's why
now
we
have I didn't say no.
I'm trying to say you either have every canal or you situmta. The credit card, there's no halva here.
I don't see what that solves rivers.
There's no halva.
To be continued.
There's no halva.
Let me see what they have to say.
When I pay with the credit card.
Tell me in the Kitzur, in the little bus farm. None of them talk about it.
Which little ones?
I don't know that.
The Bris Yehudas and...
The Bris Yehudas certainly.
You have your Mesivta. Just look in the Mesivta. How he talks about this?
Mesivta.
The series Mesivta, where they have everything and more encyclopedically arranged.
Yeah, I mean, so when it's two of the Makars I couldn't find. I don't know if these are the art scroll, the Mesivta Gemara.
This is helpful Torah Ribbis.
When I was trying, I had trouble finding some Makaris.
This has a very good quick summary. You could go into his lumdus, but you could ignore the lumdus. He gives you the three shitos. Situmta, Evikanani gives you the issues with all of them, and pretty basic. There's three mahalchin. It's not a kinyan, it's a Situmta, it's Evikanani, and he gives you the basics of all of them. It's told down good. It's great. I gave this for my chabura on Amazon, so I was trying to tell that it was a kinyan, so you don't have to worry about it. It's called Yeshlo once you make the swipe the credit card.
Number 9. I didn't. They finished.
Yeah, it was as we're coming out. But
Yeah, that's-
He says that.
He thinks Evan Kanani. He thinks Evan
That's
Kanani.
just an art scroll.
It's
Arsenal didn't do it in one.
No, they do not.
The issue is Situmta is you don't own it. A lot of times the seller doesn't even own the item yet.
I know,
So
but
it's not
yeah,
Situmta on something that's touchable. But all
I don't know
If I
if
had
you
to do it
have
over again, I would buy
Evan
it.
Kanani
If you can make out checks for $100 million.
and you tell me Evan Kanani helps you knock
I don't know
out.
who has that.
If I had to do it over again,
It's the first thing
I
you
have
tell
it
me.
at home.
he goes through those
Crime
issues.
things doesn't.
Correct.
You know,
Does he quote with crime?
I think so.
Okay.
He quotes all. Yeah, he quotes Chaim the Chazanish on Evan Kanani.
I don't know if you can have Evan
Is
Kanani.
more complete.
I think he quotes. He thinks that Evan Kanani. He thinks Evan Kanani will help you here for the Chazanish, Reb Chaim, and the Ksos. All three.
I didn't know.
You'd have Evan Kanani.
You could tell.
What's Chazanish?
This is not.
I forget. He has.
Oh!
You'll see. You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah,
Should we call it